Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday. Woohoo! Y'all go ahead, yes, because we're excited about being Friday, okay?
We made it.
Welcome back to another episode of Point of View. Sunset and Dr. Willie Montague are back at the table. Yes, ready to dive into today's hot topics. Coming up on today's show, have you ever heard of polyworking? That's juggling multiple full-time jobs. Full-time jobs? And guess what? It could actually get you fired if it breaks company rules.
Wow.
We've got all the details for you, so stay tuned. Plus, don't miss Girlfriend's Guide and Unpopular Opinion coming up later. So come on in, join the discussion. You're watching POV. So let's talk about it. In 2025, one job just isn't cutting it for a lot of folks. You might even be what they're calling now a poly worker. Someone secretly juggling 2 or more full-time jobs just to survive this economy and make ends meet. Of course, this is causing some serious tension in the workplace. Companies are cracking down, firing people, tightening contracts, and even tracking emails and productivity to catch folks in the act. Wow. Have you ever heard of this term before? And more importantly, do you think it's wrong or just what survival looks like in this economy?
I think people keep on just making up words
Right.
for their
Like,
own,
Words,
benefit.
just all the
Right.
words.
Like
yes.
poly worker.
Working, like, stop it. Like,
Poly worker is really crazy.
it's crazy. Are we just baiting the people?
Yeah.
I think we got to stop. We live in a microwavable society where I feel like everything is just a moment, right? It's a highlight reel. Everything is a highlight reel. We're talking about people's livelihoods here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How they
like
pay their bills.
people have to pay their bills and they're maintaining. It's no surprise that people have been working 2-3 jobs, right, in the past.
Right.
Some of our parents have worked 2-3
That's
jobs.
right.
It's only become a thing because of social media and how much people ostracize the workplace and working at home, being able to do what they do. But leave people alone. Like, people are really trying to maintain in this society and struggling mentally already.
Right.
Let people do what's necessary to do the basic human needs, like shelter, food,
Right.
Like, let them do what they need to do to survive. Leave people alone.
Especially when the cost of living keeps
Right.
rising, but the wages are not.
Exactly. People, the cost of living in every
inflating
economy is
everything except
inflating
money.
every second.
Right.
Exactly. But
Except
are they
their money.
paying more?
Right.
No, they're
Absolutely not.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Leave
Right.
people alone.
Well, I would say that I'm with it. I would just say long as there is productivity, because that was part of it.
As long as it's not interfering
Yeah.
with
right,
the,
and you do see in some cases where people are doing their other jobs at that job, so that may
But
be a
how would you
problem.
mitigate that? Like, how would you measure that? As a
Well,
company?
I've seen people actually just give separate laptops, especially for remote workers, that record, like it records your screen work. So it knows when you're logging off, when you're not there, and that's the way to track. I think that's the only way to track, especially because I believe this is probably just people at the offices now. They got all this new technology where
Right.
if you feel like this person is logging off this screen, because even with me being back to school, it pops up a whole new screen where I can't even pop off. There's no way you can go to Chat GPT. You can't do nothing but focus on that screen, and it's time you have to do that work, or it shuts down the whole thing. So I just feel like that's a way to, to have accountability. Like, hey, if I'm paying you to work to here,
Yeah.
give me my 5 hours,
Right.
and then log out, and then you do
yeah,
whatever
but
you
you
do.
paying
5
me don't
hours?
mean you now can go into my emails and
Yeah,
see
no,
all
no,
my
no,
other
no.
personal.
Unless it's a
Now you
company email.
Right,
Yeah,
unless it's a
yeah.
company email. But
Right.
they're using that as a tool to infiltrate you because they want you to be a slave. You cannot control what someone does outside of what you pay them to do.
Well, this is
And
why I'm
that's
big
why
into it.
Yeah.
And you're an entrepreneur.
You
and
know
I'm big
it.
into it.
Okay.
That's why I tell people, start
Right.
your own business
Business,
and go out there
yeah.
and do it. Be your own Black Wall Street.
Well, that too, but leverage your 9 to 5. I'm very careful about saying that because I'm
Thank
big
you.
on
'Cause
leveraging
it takes
where you
time to
are
build a
get to where
business.
you're going.
Yeah.
Like, don't just cold turkey anything. Leverage where you are to get where you're going, and then you can make your way from employee to entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree with that. As long as it's not interfering with the current job, you're not cutting down on productivity, they're getting what they're paying for, then absolutely. I think that's like, you know, people have to work other jobs. Or why don't you do this? If you have a problem with people working other jobs and the productivity, why don't you pay more?
Right.
You know
More
that the cost of
incentives.
living is going up.
Right.
So why don't you do what's right and pay more? Because these companies are continuing, as the cost of living rises, they're making gobs and gobs of more money, but they're not willing to, you know, share it.
Yep.
And that's a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. Would you risk your job to stay afloat? Break the rules.
Everybody does it.
Oh,
every single
everybody
person. The
does
people who own the job break the
Break
rules.
the
The people who they put in position break the rules. It's just a matter of when it becomes a big deal for the company, then they
manifest it.
ostracize
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Every single person break the rules, and I learned that from them. So yeah.
Oh, from them, honey.
Yeah.
Okay. And since we're speaking on the topic of the workplace, here's a statistic some of you may not know. Oh my goodness. Nearly 60% of women say they've never negotiated their salary. And for Black women, the wage gap is even deeper, earning just 60 cents for every dollar a white man makes. And I think white women make 75 cents. And yes, and Black women are the most educated in this country. Yes.
Yep.
That's over $1 million lost over a lifetime. But the problem isn't qualifications, we know this. Black women are showing up, working hard, and still walking away with less. Some say it's fear of backlash. Others point to the workplace discrimination, lack of pay transparency, and the pressure to just be grateful. Hey, Black woman, be grateful you got a job. We hired you, didn't we? Okay, but it's the real issue that we're not asking, or that when we do, we're told no.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. I love this.
Yes.
I love this topic. I really do, because I've worked in corporate so long, and the number one person in corporate that get treated the worst is Black women.
Wow.
I don't know if Black women are listening, but baby, please, I'm really dear and near to this. Know your worth, but most importantly, speak on your worth. I have been in corporations and have been in charge of hiring people, and I've seen every single Black woman walk into my office and degrade themselves and not talk about their qualifications because they're scared of being overqualified. But baby, you are qualified. You are grateful. You are loved. You are worthy. Please start asking for your worth. I was the highest paid supervisor in a distribution where people were working there for 20 plus years because my white sister-in-law, Erin Robinson, told me, hey, you're not going to go in there and not negotiate. I need you to do X, Y, and Z. I did exactly that, and I was the highest paid supervisor at 20 years old, y'all.
Wow,
so
that's
please,
right.
please, Black women, I beg you, know your worth and speak on it.
Good for you, because I do understand that it's a fear.
Yeah.
That when someone, you want a job, because, you know, they always say we don't want to work.
Yeah.
But we want to work, but we just don't want to be slaves.
Yeah.
Right? Because I thought those days was over. Maybe not. But, I mean, you know, it's like you're afraid to say, hey, I am worth it.
Yeah.
I deserve more, or I deserve this pay, because you want a job.
Yeah.
You need to have a job. You need to support your life. You need to support your children, your family. And then, like, what do you do with that? I understand what you're
gotta
saying, but
you got to think about this too, because it goes into the psyche of the women.
Yeah.
Women were not allowed to work, y'all. Right? They couldn't even divorce their husbands if they were beating on them.
Right.
So you had to force her into submission. So now she's in a workplace, and I see this with any
Trying to
race
be
of women,
independent.
trying to
Yeah.
find her independence, and you
Yeah.
see it in their eyes where they're like, I was doing this, I graduated. Some of them were just coming from being full-time moms, and I'm seeing them being afraid to just speak on their qualifications. Like, it fears them to say that they're good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. Like,
Yeah.
now we're dealing with more so not even a work issue, like a more personal issue. Like, sis, are you okay? Like, it's okay to talk about your worth.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay. It's not gloating, you know? And then you have no offense, the white men who come in there, they are half qualified in like, hey, yeah,
Super
I mean,
arrogant.
this, that. My wife is
Yeah.
going on vacation
Yeah.
here, and if I'm not working here, they're very
Yeah.
demanding, and
Yeah.
they get it.
Yeah.
And they just give it to them. So, like, I just want us to know that. Just speak on our worth. What's the worst that can happen? They'll tell you
It's no.
That's it. And
The
move
worst
on.
that can ever happen is no.
Yeah.
Okay. And no is not always a permanent no. No could be not here,
Yep.
not right now,
Yeah.
you know, not with this company, not with these people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah, I understand that. Do you think that you know, Black women are labeled as difficult when you speak up.
I've
That's
seen
another
it.
issue, huh?
Girl, we could go all day on
Yeah.
this issue. I've seen it in real time where a Black
Yes.
woman is told, you're difficult. And she had tried to minimize herself
Yes.
in the
Right.
situation.
But just
Right.
for speaking up.
I'll just let y'all know I'm called the whistleblower for a reason. I'm standing
Oh,
up.
good.
All
I'm
right.
speaking up. I'm
Good.
saying whatever is necessary, and I am okay with the consequences.
Now, contrary to popular belief, I am for the Black woman, and I like that Sunset is here. 'Cause
Oh,
I get
really?
along
Is
with
that
Sunset. And I'll say this
contrary?
because what she just said, what it is.
No, it is contrary to popular
Get it out with
belief.
it.
More than what you normally said.
What I,
Get it out.
but I would say what she said, or not. But however, is that I feel like with Black women that there's a thing where you do have to get a backbone. The same energy that is had in the house or with
Yeah.
relationships that you see it,
Yeah.
carry that to the workforce.
Yeah.
If you coming home and you like, hey, you do this, I want this from my man, I want this, carry that same energy to the workforce, because even if they say no, you don't have to accept less than. You can walk away and find somewhere else to negotiate
Yeah.
and where you are going to be valued and accepted, because according to statistics, there's so many jobs out there. Say, hey, if you're not going to do what I need here, I can find somewhere else to go where my worth is and I'm valued at. So I just say, don't just feel like you have to succumb to that. Or settle. Go out there and make it happen, whatever works for
But
you.
you're saying there's a lot of jobs, but we talked at the top of this week that so many Black women are becoming jobless. That means
Yeah.
losing
Yeah.
jobs.
Right. But
So
I said that in sarcasm to say that
Oh, is
since,
that what you're
since
saying?
they're saying there is so many things
Yeah.
that is available, then you go out there and you do those. But if not, negotiate where it is. I don't really think that is that many jobs being lost. I really don't think that.
I hope you're right.
I don't. I really don't.
We got to come back to this. This is a good topic. We have to take a quick
Don't let
commercial
me-
break,
Willie, I
but
got
don't go
statistics
anywhere.
in real life.
Girlfriend's Guide, an unpopular opinion, is coming up right after this. So stay tuned. You're watching POV.
What's up, social media family? We made it to the end of the week.
Woohoo!
And I, of course, got a question. So, what is something you stand firmly on?
Don't
Yo!
disrespect me. You come in my face and I shut you down, period. I am very big about respect.
Yes.
And I've been waiting for this.
Yes.
I could tell.
I was waiting until he got to jump on me.
Y'all at home, don't fear not, okay? I also stand firmly on
Yes.
respect. I am very big on respect about myself. I'm very big on a lot of things, but respect is definitely at the top of my list. I don't care who you
That's
are.
right.
Do not disrespect me, because I am not a disrespectful person.
Yeah.
But I can be.
And I would say, I am not going to let you talk to me any kind of way. You don't talk to me any kind of
Another
way.
form of
I'm
respect.
not going to accept that. And, I am, don't be a respecter of persons. God not a respecter of persons. And I'm not going to accept it from somebody else doing it to me.
I agree with all of you guys, but I take it just one step backwards.
Okay.
I don't give people access to me for that reason. So for me, I
Okay, no
observe.
access.
Yeah, I do audits of people. Before I even know you, I'm auditing you.
Yeah.
So you can't even come into my space
like
to
that.
disrespect me because I done audited you.
I
So you'll get
love
my,
that.
ASS to kiss. I'll give you nothing.
All right now.
No synergy from me. So I'm very big on access because once they have access, they can infiltrate.
That's access.
Come on, preacher.
Well, y'all, drop down in our comments and let us know what you stand firmly on, and we're going to get back to the show.
Welcome back. Now it's time to get into all things love, life, relationships, and everything in between. Let's get into Girlfriend's Guide. Okay, this one's very interesting. Ladies, the next time you're on a first date, You might want to add this to your list of questions. Did you grow up in a two-parent household? I asked that. Because depending on his answer, it might explain a whole lot. It does. Research shows that men raised without their father are twice as likely to struggle with emotional regulation,
Wow.
commitment, and maintaining long-term relationships.
Wow.
And no, it's not just daddy issues. This is about attachment, trust, and emotional survival. So the real question is, if no one ever showed him how to love or lead, how does he learn to show up for someone else?
Lord, I'm triggered. I've been triggered all week. It's too much. This is too much. Okay, so I'm like 50-50 with this. I do feel like, it is important to talk about, your parents in the beginning stages of dating.
Yeah.
But I also don't feel like it's 100% true that a man can't learn to be a man without their father being there.
Okay.
Like, I know that it's said that, oh, your father needs to be there so that he can show you how to do this, that. What if your father ain't nothing? How you gonna learn to be something from
Right.
someone
Even
who
him,
who
he's
father
there.
wasn't there or who father also wasn't nothing?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I feel like it's like a mother can't really raise a man to be a man entirely. No, but she can teach that young man respect.
Yeah.
She can teach him how to treat a woman.
Yeah.
She can take it as far as she can until he grows up and is old enough to make his own decisions in life and go through his own trial and error.
But what about the mom being there and she's teaching him how to take care of her? I would think that would translate into him being able to take care of other
No, so
women.
let me tell
no,
you.
it doesn't. Okay,
It
thank you.
doesn't.
Let me
I
know
work
what's
with
up.
boys ages 7 to 17, and I can tell you that when you have an absent father, it is very apparent when you see them grow up past those ages. Now, what I'll tell people is, as Junior just said, you may not have the father your father, because my father was not present. I'm trying to be nice.
nice, Philip.
My father was not present, and so because he was not present. And now my mother did all she do, but I learned at a young age, not from my mother, but because I had to grow up, that I wasn't going to put up there and be like, oh, happy Mother's Day and Father's Day to my mother. But what I did is realize that I needed to seek what I was looking for. So I looked to the churches, I looked to the community where there was other male figures that could help me to become what I needed to become.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there are just two different genders. I don't care what y'all say.
Yep.
And there is male and female.
Yeah.
And there is two different, don't do it. There's two, she look at me.
kicking you.
Look, I
feel the table shake.
I felt that cut on my throat.
Right.
But I would
gonna be
say that.
respectful at this age.
But that was respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your own opinion.
In my own
In your
opinion,
point of
which is
view.
right.
Right.
So then,
which is questionable. Go ahead, Will.
Young people,
Anywho,
you're both pretty.
that was her diffusing the situation. So I would say this, that we do need to get back to the structure of that. Whether the mother and father are ever going to get back together or whatever, that's not the point in case.
Yeah.
Is men need some form of male role model, father
need men.
figure,
I
a
believe men.
mentor. They need it.
To
And
be a
I
man,
work
you
with
gotta
these
see a
boys.
man.
I'm telling you
Yes.
that it's hard out there. These boys are crying. I tell this story now, just moving on. It was this boy that never could enter. His father was around. He was not present.
Yeah.
All he wanted, it drew anger. He ended up in a program where that's how I met him when he was 15 years old. One day when he graduated, he was turned like 19. He came to my house, he was putting on worship, and it came to my spirit to tell him, tell me what you want to tell your father. And he started just speaking all this stuff that he was feeling in there. And he never was an emotional person. He broke down and hugged me and cried like a baby. And he said, thank you, Pastor Josh, my middle name. Thank you for doing that. He said, because I didn't know I needed to tell my father this, and he couldn't. So they need to be able to have this connection to another male figure. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Willie.
Yeah,
That's good.
Agree. In order to be a man, you got to see a man.
Yeah. Well, you have to know how to model it.
Yeah.
And you need to
you
see
have
that.
to see it.
Yeah.
Like, you genuinely have to see it. A mother cannot replace a father. I'm
Yeah.
very big on that. Men are needed and women are needed. If we didn't need it, God wouldn't give us
There you go.
two genders. And that's as simple as it gets. A woman cannot raise you to be a man. She can raise you, like Junie said, to be respectful, to be courteous, to be polite, to have manners, right?
To
But
be a
she
decent
can't-
human.
To be a decent human. But after that, that's where the baton is handed to a man. He has to see a man, whether that be like Willie said, in a community, right? In school, somewhere this young boy has to see a male figure because men only respect men. I didn't make the rules. That's life.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you think it changes the way a woman would look at a man when he says, well, no, I didn't grow up in a two-parent?
Absolutely.
Does it change the view of him romantically?
I think so because, again, in order to be a man, you got to see a man. So for a man that did not have his father, every trait, everything, every experience he's had, he's getting it from different sources. Who are those sources? Because what you consume is what you become.
Yeah.
So if he's consuming, for instance, rap music, who refer to women as bees and this and that and the third, that's all he knows. Guess what he's going to refer to you as when he gets upset? A B, a H, and this. So what is he consuming? Who raised you?
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't have a two-parent household. What's the next male figure that was around you long term? I'm asking those questions because then I want to know what that looked like.
Right.
Was it an uncle who never even was married, who's drunk every night? I want to know who was that male figure because you're going to embody that at some point.
That was my point, though. Like, what about the people who actually do tell you, like, oh, I did come from a two-parent household, but my father and mother are extremely toxic.
Yeah.
So, like,
you pick up that
for me, it's really like, if I meet somebody and they tell me they did not grow up with both of their parents, I look at it from a totally different perspective because both of my parents were in the household and they were both toxic. They're still together 32 years later and still very toxic with each other. I'm not a toxic person because I didn't choose to be like them.
Yeah.
But I can say I've seen in my brothers some of their ways within their relationships throughout the years.
Yeah.
So for men who don't grow up with both of their parents, I don't automatically judge them and just be like, oh my God, you're extremely toxic. Like I can't date you, because at the end of the day, at your big grown age, I hope you're old enough to make your own decisions and decide to just be a good person and not come from what you witnessed growing up.
Yeah.
But I would encourage
you
women
can be better.
who are dating, like you're saying, to encourage though your partner to get around male figures,
Yeah.
even if there are
So that's-
adults, and that get around a brotherhood so that you can have that. And I'm big into that too. You may be older now, you may not be able, some people don't want to say, I got a mentor, I'm 40 years old, but a mentor can be at any age, get around someone. So even if you're older, if you're dating someone now, you start to see some traits, encourage them to get out and hang out, with people who are of substance.
That's
I'll put it
good.
like that.
That was a good topic. I mean, I have so many more questions about it because I want to ask you both. So we got to come back to that. Moving on to our next segment, where things might get a little spicy, darling. We don't always see eye to eye here. We know that. And that's the whole point. So it's time for Unpopular Opinion. A Nigerian woman is saying things that, people probably don't agree with in the Nigerian culture. No, I don't owe my parents for raising me. That's literally the bare minimum. It's their responsibility, she says. In many African cultures, it's expected that children will care for their parents in old age, especially if they've had some success. Do you think children should feel obligated to pay back their parents for raising them?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Like what? What are we talking about?
They're obligated.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I do believe even though I have the absolute no relationship with my father.
Yeah.
If it was something to happen, I don't know why I'm getting emotional right now, but I know that I would go take care of him. Even though there's 4 of us total, I would go and take care of my father.
Absolutely.
Or I would ask my other brothers to go do it. But I would do the
That's
best
probably
that
what you do.
Now with my mom though, every time my mom had gotten sick, when she had her heart attack,
Mommy gonna be good.
That's how I left from Oklahoma into Florida, because I left to go take care of. So I do believe, like, my mom sacrificed a lot as a single parent to do that.
Oh, I'm taking care of my mom.
Hold that story for 1 second.
Let's take a look at the clip.
Oh, I didn't.
One of the biggest lessons I had to learn in my life is that I don't owe my parents anything. It's one of the hardest things because in our culture, we're raised to feel like we owe our parents everything. We owe our parents every inch of success we gain. But the truth of the matter is, you didn't choose to come into this world. Your parents chose to get pregnant and give birth to you. Them putting a roof over your head, that's their responsibility. Them feeding you, that's their responsibility. I feel like as an African kid, we get bullied a lot by our parents because they always say, at least you had a roof over your head, you have food in the fridge, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter is, like, that is literally the bare minimum of what you're supposed to do as a
I agree.
Wow.
So sorry. I agree. And I know we really don't have a lot of time to dive into this,
Right.
but I'm just gonna say she's not wrong. Everybody can have their own opinion, but she's not wrong.
Well, I kind of feel like you don't owe it. You're not obligated because, again, like she said, you didn't ask to come here. So
That's
when
their
you're
responsibility.
obligated and when you're saying that you owe it, it's almost like there was a contract, but there was no contract. That
didn't
was
know this was
signed.
happening.
I didn't know, right? But I do think respect is
Now,
important.
how old you? And I didn't know
For
about
my
this.
mom, I want to take care of my mom not because I feel obligated, because she loved me.
Because you
she
want
took
to.
care
That's
of
what I
me.
was
Yes,
gonna say.
It's in my
That's
heart.
Take the
because
word
she
out.
did
Don't
that.
make this wordplay, you
Right.
guys. Like, let's
because
not let them wordplay.
that's my
Take the words
mom.
out.
She
Yeah.
loved me first. I love her. And I have decided that that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of my mom. But it's a choice. And I prefer that it be a choice than for me to feel like I'm obligated, because then it becomes transactional, not out of love.
I'll say this before we go. I just think that she's just trauma based. I don't
Yeah.
think it was about her feeling
yeah.
obligated. It was just trauma.
Oh, y'all, I'm
Agreed.
supposed to rap. I'm sorry. Today's show, we're rapping.
with
But
that.
before we leave, let's leave you with this quote. The family is the cornerstone of our society, the place where love, hope, and security are nurtured. That's Barack Obama.
Oh, dear
Catch you next time on POV. Hi, I did it.